What's up everybody, TJComix here, and today I'm going to continue recasting every major role in the DC universe to create my own ultimate cast list. I mentioned in the last video that I was trying to keep it short, but it still ended up being almost as long as the first one. Because of this, I'm going to start taking a much shorter approach to my recasting videos, so let me know if you prefer this style of video over a longer one. Anyways, today I'm going to be adding to the Justice League team by casting some more popular Justice League members that I didn't mention in my first video. My extended Justice League recast will consist of Martian Manhunter, Black Canary, Hawkgirl, Green Arrow, Red Tornado,
Shazam,
and the Atom. This order of characters is intentional, and just like the Injustice League video, it's specific to the order of characters that I recasted in my first recasting video. The idea here is that once the Justice League needs to expand, each original member would bring in another member to the league, doubling the total number of members. Superman would bring in Martian Manhunter, for obvious alien reasons. Batman would bring in Black Canary, for obvious brooding vigilante reasons. Wonder Woman would bring in Hawkgirl, because they're both women who are connected to mythology in some way. The Flash would bring in Green Arrow, which would pay homage to the Arrowverse, where the Green Arrow was the one who brought up the Flash. Green Lantern would bring in Red Tornado, because I'm thinking that I want Red Tornado to be designed by Ferris Air, and Hal Jordan was a test pilot for them before becoming the Green Lantern. Aquaman would bring in Shazam, because they're both sort of mystical and extravagant. And Cyborg would bring in the Atom, because they're both related to technology. Before I start, I'm going to briefly explain the process of how this will work. First, I'll tell you the name of the character, and I'll give a description of the character, which will probably be pulled from DC's official website. I like to do that. I'll tell you who I picked to portray the character. I'll explain why I chose the actor I chose. I'll show some photoshops of the actor as the character, concluding each casting choice.
I wonder how, I wonder why. Yesterday you told me about the blue, blue sky and all that.
And once I'm done with all that, I'll move on to the next character. But without any further ado, let's get started. Coming off at the top of the list is Martian Manhunter. J'onn J'onzz of the planet Mars was accidentally transported to Earth, where he became one of its greatest champions under the moniker Martian Manhunter. One of the last surviving members of his species, the Martian Manhunter wields such powers as the ability to shapeshift, telepathy, flight, invisibility, phasing, super strength, and Martian vision. His only weakness is an inherent fear of fire, which all Martians have. All of these abilities make him one of the most powerful beings on the planet, but it's his brilliant mind and steady leadership style, along with his gentle soul, that have made him a beloved member of the League. Basically, this guy is an alien who has had a rough life, and who has troubles when it comes to acclimating to Earth. For Superman, it was a relatively easy transition, because he looks like he's a human, he talks like he's a human, and for all intents and purposes, he's essentially a human.
Redundancy. Noun. The state of being redundant.
But for J'onn J'onzz, it's a very real struggle, because he lacks the intangible things that Kal-El had when he came to Earth, that allowed him to adjust over a longer period of time. Because of this difficulty, we need an actor who can convincingly portray that sort of social awkwardness, and that inability to perceive social cues. But we also need someone who can play a serious and gentle-hearted character. I chose Andre Braugher for this role because of his performance in a TV series called Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Why is no one having a good time? I specifically requested it.
Now, I know it's a huge step from Fox sitcom to blockbuster movie, but this actor checks all of the boxes. He's got the stature and appearance for the role. He's got the socially awkwardness down.
drum roll please. That's your drum roll?
When a tempo isn't specified, any reasonable person would default to lento.
Well, it's terrible and you ruined a fun thing.
Plus, he just really gives off the sort of outsider, gentle giant vibe that I'm kind of looking for.
Pay no attention to him, Rosa. He's very emotional, Rosa.
Why are you saying my first name?
Well, Rosa, I read an article in a medical journal that said one destabilizing aspect of incarceration is the constant dehumanization, Rosa. You need to be reminded that you're more than just a number, Rosa. You are Rosa. Rosa?
Yep, that fixes prison.
And that's why I chose Andre Braugher as John Jones, aka Martian Manhunter. Next up is Black Canary. A highly trained martial artist and a master of disguise, Dinah Lance's life hasn't always been easy. Before her career as a superhero took off, she spent most of her time just trying to survive in the streets of Gotham City. It was this rough upbringing that taught her the value of her strength and gave her the skills to fight, something that would later prove a huge asset as she put on a mask and became a superhero. Sometimes the most beautiful things are also the most deadly. Such is the case with Dinah, who just happens to have the power to turn her voice into a supersonic blast she calls a canary cry. But when she's not fighting for the betterment of Gotham, chances are you can find her roaming alongside the on-again, off-again love of her life, Green Arrow, who I'll get into a bit later. I would handle Black Canary a bit differently than Birds of Prey did. Instead of making her into a bird of prey immediately in her first movie, I'd have her start off as a solo act who grabs the attention of Batman, which isn't something that's very easy to do. So to pull off that kind of prowess, we need a beautiful actress who can kick egregious amounts of ass. Now, I don't know a lot about this actress, but I think Catherine Winnick would be an outstanding choice here. This woman just screams Black Canary to me. She has the perfect look for the role, but she's also got the rap sheet of roles to back it up, specifically her role in the show Vikings.
You're a witch. You bewitched him.
But she's not a newbie to the blockbuster scene either.
First onside. Already been handled. This is out of control.
Get the body to the morgue. Trust the Jeep.
It's not my job. Do it then.
This is all on you.
Which is why I think she's the perfect balance between a safe and yet an also relatively unknown choice.
Look, there's a problem with the Winkai count. June 2008, the billing, you might want to take a look at it.
You know what? Let's forget the billing. We'll take care of it on Monday.
Are you sure?
Yeah,
Okay.
great.
So Catherine Winnick as Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary. Now we'll be moving on to Hawkgirl. An immortal warrior who's been reborn into countless lives, Kendra Saunders uses her past to plot a course for a brighter future. Throughout the history of the multiverse, there's been a line of fierce, winged women who have defended the Earth and gone by the name Hawkgirl. Although often seen fighting at the side of a Hawkman, she is no mere love interest or sidekick, but a formidable hero in her own right. Now, I'm definitely not a Hawkgirl expert. I know she's got wings, a mace, and is super powerful. But that's pretty much the extent of my knowledge about this character. Even still, I think a prime candidate for Hawkgirl is Alicia Vikander. Vikander is most notable for her role as Lara Croft in the Lara Croft remake.
Oi. Courier's round the back.
I'm not a courier. Well, I am.
Right. So, round the back.
I'm here to see Anna Miller.
Well, you got to sign in like everyone else. What's your name?
Laura
Lara.
Croft.
Say what you will about that movie, I still think she's a perfect candidate for this role. She's got a sort of action-adventure thing going on for her right now, but not only that, she's also got the looks of a reincarnated goddess, and she's the perfect age for the role.
Go! Get her! Get her!
So Alicia Vikander as Kendra Saunders, aka Hawkgirl. Next on the list is the Green Arrow. Although he is commonly thought of by many as just a modern-day Robin Hood, the Green Arrow is so much more than that limited description would lead you to believe. Born to a life of wealth and privilege, Oliver Queen took it all for granted until tragedy struck at sea, leaving him alone on a deserted island. There, Queen had to dig deep to find out if he had the inner fortitude to survive. While stranded on this island, Oliver honed his already formidable archery skills into becoming the greatest archer ever known. When he finally returned to civilization, he embarked on a career as an urban vigilante, attempting to rid the streets of crime in his hometown of Star City, with nothing but a bow and arrow. Viewed as a pampered playboy by the outside world, Green Arrow cares more about the plight of the poor and the suffering in America than perhaps any other costume superhero. Now, I only watched the first 4 seasons of the CW's Arrow, and while it felt a lot like a soap opera at times,
it's more complicated than that.
God, Oliver, you're the only person on this planet who considers the truth complicated. Just to be clear, I don't care that you have a child. I can't believe that you have a child that you didn't tell me about.
Oh my God!
I really can't not like Stephen Amell's portrayal of Oliver Queen. I was imagining that it would be hard to replace him for the big screen. I was wrong.
Bruh.
Charlie Hunnam was made for this role. Not only does he look like Oliver Queen straight from the comics, with green eyes, blonde hair, and a scruffy goatee, but he's got a lot of reference films that would make him a perfect fit.
What you did back there was wrong. And it hurts all of us.
No, you might be right. But you didn't see the pleasure in that animal's face when he caved in Opie's skull. We did!
His main spotlight movie would definitely be King Arthur, because that movie is set in the same era as Robin Hood, who Green Arrow is based off of. And also because progressing from living on the bottom to becoming a hero is a common theme between both stories. The difference being that Oliver Queen begins on the bottom in a moral sense, while Arthur does on a hierarchical sense.
All right, where'd you want me? Trigger. I think we got one here.
Bouncing on my knee.
Where do you think I want you? Hands on the hilt, stupid. First thing, didn't have any teeth.
Tell me this guy wasn't tailor-made for Green Arrow. I mean, come on. Dude even starred in a film where the plot is literally that he's stranded on an island. If that's not a major sign that he needs to play this character, I have no idea what is. So Charlie Hunnam as Oliver Queen, aka the Green Arrow. After Green Arrow, we've got Red Tornado. Red Tornado's origin is going to be a trickier one than the rest, because the DC website doesn't even have a biography for him, and every wiki article I've seen has a different origin than the one that I want to tell. So here's my own origin for the character. After Superman made himself known to mankind, a private aerospace company called Ferris Air made a weapons deal with the US military to design a drone capable of keeping tabs on Superman and even defeating Superman if it came to that. The end of the process resulted in Project Red Tornado, a robot with the ability to fly and to produce inhuman amounts of strength. However, when they were designing Red Tornado, an employee went mad and developed an AI that made Red Tornado sentient. Not wanting to be shut down by the military, Red Tornado went into hiding, completely off the grid. And this is where I'd have him be when Hal Jordan, who used to be a test pilot for Ferris Air, would find him and bring him into the Justice League, along with the rest of the members bringing in their recruits. Honestly, as far as portrayals go, we don't need someone with a huge talent for this role. When I was thinking about Red Tornado, I really couldn't get Paul Bettany's vision from the MCU out of my head. Probably because that's the type of character I'm going for here. But I didn't want to cheat and just say Paul Bettany. So instead, I think I've finally settled on Matt Smith. Matt Smith is mostly known as the 11th Doctor in the Doctor Who series.
That's disgusting. What is that?
An apple.
Apple's rubbish. I hate apples.
And he fits the bill perfectly here. He's a tall, skinny British guy. That's pretty much all we need. We probably won't see his face in the role at all, but his sort of awkward goofiness.
Oh, hey! You've swallowed a planet!
I'm pregnant!
You're huge!
Yeah, I'm pregnant.
Look at you when worlds collide!
Doctor, I'm pregnant.
Oh, look at you both 5 years later and you haven't changed a bit apart from age and size.
Oh, it's good to see you, Doctor.
Are you pregnant?
And the fact that he can also take things seriously.
Sorry, can I ask again? You mentioned a mistake with me.
Oh, big mistake. Really huge. Didn't anyone ever tell you there's one thing you never put in a trap if you're smart, if you value your continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap.
And what would that be, sir?
Makes me think he'd do a pretty good job. So Matt Smith as the Red Tornado. Moving on, we have
Shazam!
Billy Batson's parents died when he was still a baby. The orphan child believed he had no one to rely on and had to fend for himself. But one day, he was guided to the Rock of Eternity, where the ancient wizard waited. The world needed heroes, and the boy became the wizard's new champion, able to transform himself into an adult superhero by calling down a magical bolt of lightning. Now, whenever evil must be stopped or people are in need of help, Earth can rely on the power of Shazam! I haven't actually seen it yet, but I know that the DCEU Shazam! Movie got decent reviews, and I think the casting was pretty good. Casting for Shazam! Is pretty difficult, because not only do you have to find an actor that can fit the role well, and pull off that child in an adult's body humor like Tom Hanks did in Big, but you also need a young counterpart, who's a decent actor and looks like a younger version of the adult actor. This was no easy feat, and I might be cheating a little bit here, but I really like the idea of Brandon Routh as the adult and Jack Dylan Grazer as the kid. Now, I know Brandon Routh played Superman in 2004, and he plays Ray Palmer in the Arrowverse. And I know Grazer is already playing Freddie Freeman in the DCEU. But this was just way too perfect to pass up. For starters, Grazer looks like a younger version of Routh, and Routh looks like Shazam! So we're doing well in the looks department already. But when I think of Shazam! It's not hard to imagine the wide-eyed, funny, and awkward Brandon Routh in the role.
Come with me if you want to live. I always wanted to say that.
Like I said, in the Arrowverse, he also plays Ray Palmer with his signature humor and wit.
What are you doing? Trying to be cool.
And I think that would translate very well for
Shazam!
Heil Hitler!
Hell. As for Jack Dylan Grazer, you don't need much for a Billy Batson, just a decent child actor who looks like the adult you casted. He's already got more than enough practice for this role. So Jack Dylan Grazer as Billy Batson, aka Shazam, and Brandon Routh as Shazam, aka Billy Batson. Finally, we have the Atom. Ray Palmer is a research scientist who created a white dwarf lens that gave him control over his own mass and size. As the Atom, he fought many villains and strange menaces across time and space, not only alone, but also as a member of the Justice League. From my perspective, Ray Palmer is essentially what would happen if the MCU's Scott Lang had Tony Stark's money. A morph between Ant-Man and Iron Man, which is something that might be a little bit difficult to pull off. The cockiness and arrogance of a billionaire, combined with the weird charisma of a dude who took his girlfriend telling him that size doesn't matter a little too literally, might provide a challenge for the actor that I choose. But honestly, this isn't a character that you can take super seriously, which is why I think Miles Teller is perfect for the role.
Jeff Chang! I can't go out tonight. Look, Jeff Chang, this is your 21st birthday.
Here we go.
In the United States of America, bald eagles and Budweiser, you go out and drink. If we were in Africa, you would have to leave the village and not come back till you killed a bear.
None of that is true.
Really?
He's a lot like Paul Rudd in the sense that he's known as a funny guy, but he can act seriously when he needs to.
I thought you were fine. You're lying to me. I found your VA questionnaire. Everything's a lie. You're sick, and I can't do anything if you don't talk to me, Adam.
I have to be sick or I can't get my benefits.
So you don't want to die? It was multiple choice, and you said you wanted to die. Was that a lie? Adam.
I don't know.
He has that almost awkward way of acting that would make him play the part well, but I could also see him delivering the role of a billionaire too. He sort of rides the trifecta edge between action star, Judd Apatow comedy actor, and Oscar-worthy performer. He also looks the part and is the perfect age to maybe be college roommates with Michael B. Jordan's Cyborg, which would explain how Michael B. Jordan's Cyborg would get him to join the Justice League. Plus, I think viewers need a palate cleanse with this actor since the 2015 Fantastic Four film that he starred in.
Your balance is getting better.
Hey.
What the fuck was that? Anyways, that's why I chose Miles Teller as Ray Palmer, aka the Atom. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments who you guys would cast in these roles, and also leave suggestions for future videos. Next time, I'm going to be tackling some sidekicks with my version of Young Justice, so be on the lookout for that. And I promise it will come out a lot quicker than this video did. I apologize that my videos have sort of been uploaded inconsistently, and I haven't really had a set schedule, but that's something that I'm looking to change. So just be on the lookout for videos in the future. My goal is to release one video a week, but we'll see how I do. If you like this video, feel free to drop a like, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.